Woo! Man. What a crazy game, man. What a crazy game. Easily one of the craziest games I've seen from the Ravens in a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Ravens flock. What a crazy game this was. The Ravens were able to get the 34-31 victory over the Minnesota Vikings in overtime thanks to a Justin Tucker field goal that sealed the game during the final seconds of OT. The Ravens move up to 6-2 and they continue to hold that number one spot in the AFC North. Next up will be the Miami Dolphins on a short week, Thursday Night Football, so we'll see how that goes. But let's recap this game. I'm going to be honest, guys. I don't know what to say. I really don't know what to say. I don't know what to make of the Ravens this year. Are they a Super Bowl contending team? Are they a bad team? Are they a middle-of-the-road team? What do we make of this team? I don't know. How can they continue to have sequences where they play bad football for 30 minutes in the first half, and then they play crazy football in the second half of the game, and then they pull off all these comebacks? This was the third double-digit comeback by Lamar Jackson and the Ravens this season. This was also the third overtime game we've played this season. I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't know who's going to win the Super Bowl, but if the Ravens find a way to pull that off, this season will be one hell of a documentary because it's been such a journey. All these trials, all these tests they've had to deal with, it's been crazy. Man, I don't know what to make of this game. But before we actually talk about the Ravens, I got to say this, man. Shout out to the Minnesota Vikings. Kirk Cousins played a pretty good game, had 2 passing touchdowns, came up clutch during the regular time in the fourth quarter to tie the game. Dalvin Cook, man, over 100 yards rushing. You had Justin Jefferson get that huge touchdown to put them up early. I mean, it's those guys, they fought. The Vikings may be under 500, but they might be the best team under 500 in the NFL. This team fights, man. They fight. If there's one word I can use to describe both the Minnesota Vikings and the Baltimore Ravens, it's resilient. Both these teams are resilient. Now, the Ravens are more resilient than the Vikings just because they're finding ways to win this game as opposed to Vikings who are not winning those games. But both of them have shown a lot of resiliency this season. Honestly, if the Vikings if they can find ways to close games, they would be 7-1. I'm not joking. If you watch the games, they'd be 6-2 or 7-1 right now if they could just find ways to close the game. So many games they should have won, they failed to get done. This team has gone toe-to-toe with Cincinnati. They went toe-to-toe with the Cardinals. This team can compete with any team in the NFL, but they fail to close the deal. And that's why they're under 500. Meanwhile, Baltimore, the same thing can be said about them. They struggle, but they find ways to compete with any team in the NFL. Only difference is they're closing those games and they're winning. And that's why they're 6-2. Gotta say, man, this Ravens team, they're resilient, man. They're resilient. So, where do I start off here when it comes to this game? Because it was a crazy game. Well, the first half was nothing. Simple as that. The first half was nothing. Until you got the touchdown. I'll say this. First drive of the game, Ravens are going downfield. They're around like midfield where fourth down happens. And on fourth down, they chose to just let Lamar run the ball off the edge. And we knew that wasn't going to work up. The Vikings immediately blew that up. But he decides to be reckless with the ball and he throws it behind them. And the Vikings end up picking it up. Now, this should have been a turnover. The Vikings get the ball inside Ravens territory to start off the game, and it would have been great for them. However, there was a bad call. They called a horse collar tackle on the defense. And when you look at the replay, it wasn't a horse collar tackle. That gave the Ravens an opportunity to go down the field once again. Now, Mark Andrews missed that drop touchdown pass on the first drive, but honestly, the refs gifted us that free play, right? They gifted us a first down. And because of that, I was fine. We took the 3 points. Vikings get the ball back, and next thing you know, Kirk Cousins launches a bomb downfield to Justin Jefferson, who's wide open. Some sort of miscommunication happened. I don't know if it's because of Elliott. I don't know if it's because of Humphrey. I don't know what happened. But miscommunication happened, and nobody covered Jefferson. He went untouched. Nobody tested this guy. Nobody was on him on the line of scrimmage. Nobody covered this dude. He ran in a straight line down the field, untouched, easy touchdown. And I was like, it's about to be one of these days. So we proceed to really do nothing with the ball for the most part. They get the ball back, and they put some more points up. And it's just looking bad. First half was really nothing. It looked like we could get something going, but really it was getting bad. Most of the first half was just nothing from the Ravens. Punts, 3-and-out, just nothing. Vikings, they were able to put up that touchdown. They ended up getting another touchdown. They were up 14-3, and all of a sudden it's like, man, things are getting bad. So then we get down to around the 2-minute warning, and Vikings punt the ball back to us. Ravens get the ball. All right, 2-minute offense. Let's go down the field, do something. Lamar proceeds to throw a pick. Now, this was actually a great play by the defender because he was throwing it to Andrews, who was open, and the defender was able to read that play, and he jumped in front of the pass, made the play, and picked off Lamar. The Vikings would proceed to use that to kick a field goal. They would actually get some points out of it. All of a sudden, we're down 17-3. I'm thinking we cannot go into halftime being down 17-3. We got to do something. So we get the ball back with about a minute left. We try to go down the field, and something crazy happened. Lamar Jackson throws the ball down the field to Rashad Bateman, who, by the way, had a really good game. Every time we were throwing him the ball, he was pretty much converting it for first downs. Bateman is a weapon on this offense. We got to continue to get the ball to him because the more we open it up for him, the more we're going to see big plays from him. But Lamar launches the ball down the field to Bateman, and he's not able to grab it. But a flag was thrown on the field. They called a pass interference. Bro, you don't understand how special this is. The Ravens offense does not get pass interference calls. We don't. So when I saw that, I was shocked. That put us on the 5-yard line. Lamar would then proceed to hit Devontae Freeman, who was wide open, and he would just stroll in to the end zone for a touchdown. We go into halftime down 17-10. Okay, 7-point game. We played bad in the first half. We can work through it. Let's get into the second half, play a little bit better. Coming out of half, what ends up happening? We give up a kick return for a touchdown. The Vikings haven't had a kick return for a touchdown since November 20th of 2016. And we just allowed that. Not how you want to come out of the locker room. That was poor. That was very poor. That was very poor. So all of a sudden we're down 24-10, and now we just got to play it out. So eventually we go down the field. We're down 14 in the second half. We eventually go down the field. We score a touchdown. Lamar Jackson hits Patrick Ricard in the end zone, who, by the way, during that touchdown drive, it was all Patrick Ricard. Patrick Ricard was leading the charge. He kick-started us in the second half and led the charge, and he was rewarded by getting that touchdown in the end zone. So all of a sudden, it's a 7-point game, 24-17. Things are getting tight. All of a sudden, the defense finally decided to wake up. They played poorly in the first half, giving up 17 points. Second half, they played a different game. They gave up 14. I ain't gonna lie, they gave up 14. But for much of the game, they gave up 7. That defense was making stops, getting the ball back to the offense. There were a couple times where the offense could have taken advantage of it. They didn't. But man, they were able to make some plays. One thing I liked was during one of the drives that led to a touchdown, we were in our own 30-yard line, and we went for it on 4th and short. We were being aggressive. And I love when the Ravens are aggressive because when they're aggressive, they usually succeed. I love when the Ravens get aggressive because it usually works out in our favor. We got to be more aggressive this season. Moving forward, you got to be more aggressive. Take some risks. Take some chances. If you want to be great and you want to beat everyone in front of your way, you've got to take those chances because we got some tough enemies coming up moving forward. But yeah, eventually we chip away, and then we eventually get down the field, and Lamar Jackson hits Devin Duvernay in the end zone for a touchdown. Duvernay made a beautiful catch. He got it with one hand and then kind of bobbled it up a little so that he could catch it with both hands, or he kind of pulls it in and he catches it. Both his knees are down inside the end zone. That's a touchdown. We tie it up. And I'm telling you, that play, that's a highlight play. That's going to be on the NFL's list this week for best catches of week 9. I believe it will because that was an amazing catch. So Devin Duvernay makes that amazing catch, and all of a sudden, we're tied up. Vikings get the ball back. We're in the fourth quarter. They don't do nothing with it. Defense makes a stop. We get it back to our offense. Offense proceeds to go down the field, just carving up the Vikings defense. And you could tell at this stage, that defense was very, very tired. They looked tired, and they were playing tired. So you could just tell they were getting exhausted. They needed to do something. They had to make a stop, but unfortunately they couldn't. Eventually we go down the field, and Le'Veon Bell punches it into the end zone. We're up 7. The Minnesota Vikings gave up 21 unanswered points. 21 unanswered points. That's unacceptable if you're the Vikings. Zimmer, you got to do better, man. They might fire you if your defense keeps blowing leads like this and they keep giving up this many unanswered points. You're going to get fired. So figure something out. This defense cannot be blowing it like that. So next thing you know, Vikings get the ball back. They are trying to march down the field. Game's on the line, trying to tie this game up. And we get them to 3rd and long. And all of a sudden, Kirk Cousins launches the ball down the field, and he hits a man. And Elliott could have made the play there to make the stop. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make the stop. Receiver was able to make the catch with 2 hands. I don't know. Who was it? Was it I don't know. Remember the name of the receiver, but, like, he makes a hell of a catch. I don't know if it was a receiver. It was one of the players. In fact, I feel personally to look this up because he made a hell of a play, and that was the play that honestly saved the Vikings because the game was on the line, and he made that play. Like, it was a hell of a play. It was Ham. C.J. Ham. C.J. Ham made that big play to keep the drive alive. Next thing you know, they're going down the field, and they're making plays. All of a sudden, they're in the red zone, and they find a way to punch it in. Kirk Cousins hits his man, Adam Thielen, in the end zone. Him and Anthony Avery were kind of going at it. They were both physical, but, they didn't call pass interference there. They let him play it out, which is fine. It is what it is. And Thielen was able to win that matchup. He got the touchdown. All of a sudden, it's a tie game. We get the ball back with a minute left in the game, trying to go down the field, get into field goal range, and win this game. What ends up happening? Absolutely nothing. Lamar gets sacked. We go into overtime. So we get into overtime. We get the ball first. We're going down the field. Lamar is managing it right. This is exactly what you see from the Ravens offense. You want to continue to see this, especially when we've been in overtime. This is what we've been doing for the most part. Or when we've been in these type of moments, we've been doing this consistently for much of the season. And we were just going down the field. We got into field goal range. Now let's get this touchdown and get it done. We're inside field goal range. And I don't know if it was a second down play, but Lamar snaps this ball. Freeman has a defender right in front of him. He's supposed to make that block. He's supposed to go up on him, make that block, make sure he doesn't get near Lamar. Freeman does not make that block. The defender gets both hands up. Lamar's tossing it because it's a quick throw. The defender not only gets both hands up and tips the ball, but he actually manages to catch it. So the Vikings ended up picking off Lamar Jackson in overtime. And I'm sitting here, I got my beanbag chair, and I'm thinking this game might be over unless the defense can step up and make a play. And let me tell you something. The defense stepped up and made a play in overtime. They made a stop. They brought the pressure on 3rd down. It got to Kirk Cousins. He couldn't get the ball to any receiver. Incomplete. They punted the ball back to us. Once they gave us the ball, it was game over. We were inside our own 10-yard line. We marched all the way down to inside the red zone. Around like the 21, not the 21, like the 19-yard line. We went inside the red zone. And at the end of the day, we brought out Justin Tucker. And it was a 36-yard field goal. That's a layup. That's a layup for Tucker. So obviously he was going to make it. He kicks the field goal, and we win the game. So that's pretty much what happened. Offensively, Lamar Jackson made some great throws. He missed the first half. He wasn't good. He wasn't good in the first half. He missed a lot of throws. Well, not a lot of throws. He missed a good chunk of throws. Hell, there was one throw that he missed on the check down. He's got to make that throw. First half, he was out of rhythm. Clear as day, he was out of rhythm. Second half, my bad. Second half, he played a lot better, showed up, did what he needed to do. It was beautiful. Loved what I saw there. But, yeah, Lamar did his thing for much of this game, made some mistakes here and there, things that we have to correct as a team. Offensive line could not protect Lamar. He was getting smacked to left and right. Now, they had some moments in the game where they did a great job protecting him, and nobody was open downfield, so Lamar had to take it and run. But there were just times where they did so poorly that Lamar would just get smacked in the pocket. He took a lot of not bad hits, but he took a lot of hits in this game, and I just don't like seeing that. It's bad to see your quarterback take all those hits. The worst part was he was taking those hits in the pocket. Wasn't taking those hits when he was taking off. He was taking it in the pocket. So our offensive line has to produce better. Our running game was actually pretty solid. Devontae Freeman ended up getting a touchdown. It was a receiving touchdown. He ran the ball nicely. Le'Veon Bell, late in the game, was able to run the ball nicely. He got himself a rushing touchdown, so at least our backs were productive in this game. Tyson Williams tried to do something, didn't really do much. He didn't get that much carry, so it is what it is. Receivers did what they needed to do for the most part. Bateman looked nice. He was consistent. Maybe had a drop or two here, but he was consistent. I love what I'm seeing from Bateman. Continue to feed him the ball. Continue to get him snaps. Truly integrate him onto the Ravens offense, and we'll see what we can do. Hollywood Brown made some plays down the stretch, and he made some tough catches down the stretch. So I like what I saw from him. Mark Andrews made some nice plays here and there. That was nice. Patrick Ricard was a savior on one of these drives where he carried us. Devin Duvernay showed off why he has one of the best pair of hands on this team. I just love what I saw from everybody. Receiving core was solid today. Unfortunately, we weren't able to make a lot of big plays downfield. I wish we were able to, but it just didn't happen in this game. Offensive line didn't give us the opportunity to do so. But it is what it is. We'll learn from this. Hopefully we'll improve because we got to play on Thursday night. And then defensively, first half, we were bad. We were bad first half. Second half, they got themselves together, played much better. They were able to communicate much better. They were able to execute much better, and they were making tackles. They made tackles, and that's what I want to see. Now, what they did in the second half, minus giving up that touchdown late in the game, what they did for most of the second half, I want to see that moving forward. Like, they got to be able to produce more as a team. They got to be able to execute better as a defense. But other than that, it wasn't that much pressure on Kirk Cousins. I'm not exactly sure if we sacked him or not. I believe we did, but we tried to throw pressure at him, but he was getting the ball out of his hands. There was not much we can do with that. But yeah, overall, team was able to get the win. We are 6-2. We do play Thursday night against the Dolphins, so today is the only time you can celebrate this win. Now, normally we always do that. We celebrate the win on Sunday, and on Monday we move on to the next team. But now it feels like you got to celebrate the win now and immediately move on. It's a short week. You got Miami. You got to get prepared. You got to get ready. It's prime time. We got to go. It's go time. But yeah, that's all I got to say, man. It was a crazy game, but the Ravens were able to get the job done. And now we're 6-2. Looking at the division, Pittsburgh plays tomorrow night, I believe, on Monday Night Football against the Bears. Pittsburgh right now is 4-3, so if they lose that game, they're 4-4. If they win, they're 5-3. Meanwhile, Cincinnati got destroyed by Cleveland, so now both Cleveland and Cincinnati are both 5-4 in the season. So they stand at 5-4. Baltimore stands at 6-2. They've got some leverage right there. Pittsburgh, like I said, they're back in the fold. It feels like everything looks back to normal in the AFC right around there. So it's crazy how the AFC North has been this year. But we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens, especially when it comes to that Dolphins game, because we have to forget about everything that just happened today and move on immediately. Thursday night is coming. We got to worry about the Dolphins. We'll see what happens with that. But with that being said, that is all I got, man, and I'm out of here. Peace. Go Ravens!